you everybody for coming and attending this incredible event. Great turnout, right, Mr. Mayor?
Sure is.
Great turnout. Before we begin, I'd like to call on Chief of Staff Robert Deal, former councilman, to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Thank you. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Please stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Bob. I want to start off by welcoming the Rivkin family, which came from very far. Thank you so much for coming and being here with us. It's great to see all of you once again. This morning we are joined by distinguished individuals, Rabbi Yaakov Luben, Rabbi Gedalia Jaffe. Rabbi Malitsky unfortunately could not be here. He's attending a funeral this morning. Senator Patrick Deignan, Assemblyman Robert Karabenchik, Edison Mayor Sam Joshi, Councilman Joe Coyle, Councilman Matt Hale, Highland Park Councilman Matt Hale. Whoa. Thank you. Chief of Police Tom Bryant, Deputy Chief Robert Dudash, Fire Chief Andy Toth, and Mr. Moshe Foyer, who's supposed to be up here, taking pictures, but who has taken over the role of Kehila in exactly the way that Rabbi Dr. Israel Rivkin left it, running it with the same modesty and care that it should be run. Thank you very much, Moshe. I also like to take a moment to thank the Department of Public Works and the administration for their exceptional work in preparing these courts and the work that they do around our town. Their deep commitment to our community, our beloved city of Edison, and their respective roles is truly remarkable. It is a privilege to collaborate with each and every one of these dedicated group of men and women who genuinely care about the work we do and the well-being of each other. So thank you very much. Today, we're here to celebrate the life and legacy of Rabbi Dr. Israel Rivkin, a man whose profound relationships and influences have shaped this community into the vibrant and growing Jewish community that it is today. This rare assemblance of distinguished people is a testament to the unwavering relationships that Rabbi Israel Rivkin has built and fostered. Their presence here today speaks volumes to the profound respect Izzy earned through years of sincere friendships and mutual regard. It reflects not only their esteem for Izzy, but also their respect for this community. Rabbi Dr. Israel Rivkin was a man of great honor, earning respect through the respect that he offered others. Unifying our voice under Kehila, he collaborated effectively with various officials to ensure that our community has what it needed to practice our faith and grow as a Jewish community. I recall him think that's Izzy. Doesn't want us to talk about him.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was thinking. He was way too modest.
I recall him having a conversation with me that he had with his son, who upon moving to another community, described a communal burning of the chametz. The ritual burning of the chametz, leavened bread, before Passover, is a symbolic act of purification and spiritual preparation for the holiday. Recognizing the value of such practice, Izzy swiftly engaged local officials, and within months, he secured their support to implement this ritual here in Edison for the upcoming Passover holiday. It happens right over here, year after year. It has since become an annual tradition embraced by each successive administration. Additionally, a fundamental element for a thriving and observant Jewish community is the establishment and maintenance of an Eruv. An Eruv is a symbolic enclosure that permits activities normally restricted in public areas on Shabbat, the Jewish Sabbath. It essentially transforms a designated area into a private domain, allowing observant Jews to carry items such as prayer books, house keys, push strollers, and engage in other activities otherwise prohibited outside the home, thus enabling a greater participation in communal and family life on Shabbat. Securing the necessary approvals for the Eruv presented a considerable challenge, particularly given the need to coordinate with the transit authority. On cue. As many of my colleagues in public service can attest, navigating the transit's regulations can be notably a complex process. However, through his characteristic tenacity and unwavering resolve, Izzy successfully navigated these complexities. The result has been a period of significant growth and expansion of our community within Edison, and additional extension to the area's original boundaries over the years. He took great care to ensure that the safety of the community during the holidays, corresponding with the chief and the deputy chiefs to inform them of the prayer schedules and pedestrian activity. On the state level, he worked with elected officials to ensure that the special needs of our children get the proper care and education through state-funded programs. Personally, his guidance has been instrumental in my own journey. He encouraged me to get involved on the zoning board and then on the city council, ensuring that he would guide me through and through, and boy did I need it. As a mentor, I would often reach out to him with questions and seek his advice. When he moved to Israel, we would speak every Friday morning, amongst other times during the week. And I thought I was special until I heard that he spoke to a lot of people. How's it going over there? That's how he would start every conversation. He would ask about the welfare of the elected officials, if we emailed the police and the mayor before each holiday, about the committee people. He would send me on various missions to speak with this assemblyman and this person and that person. He asked about various who won this race and that race. Even when he was on the other side of the Atlantic, in a different country, he never let go of the foundation that he built. In the beginning of last summer, about a year ago, when the mayor approved the renovations of these courts, and before the work actually began, and still continuing. Government work is a little slow. We're getting there. We have about a year or so. I had a conversation with the mayor, and I suggested the possibility of naming the courts in honor of Izzy Rivkin for all the great work that he has done in this very community. He was very receptive. He loved the idea. But he pointed out that it's a bit unconventional to dedicate such spaces to living individuals. However, I share with him something my mother always used to say to me, she still does, that it's better to honor the living while they can still appreciate it. Unfortunately, Izzy's health throughout the summer deteriorated, and we had to act fast. We needed to move quickly. A formal declaration was prepared by the mayor's office, and we had the distinct privilege of presenting it to Izzy via video conference, at which time we informed him of the decision to name the courts in his honor. When considering what to name the courts, we deliberated thoughtfully. What is the most meaningful way to acknowledge the contributions of someone who prefers to work quietly behind the scenes and avoid public recognition? Rabbi Dr. Israel Rivkin was not a practicing rabbi, nor did he practice law or medicine. He didn't operate under the banner of a councilman, a mayor, or any official title. He simply acted and was extremely effective, driven by his vision and his commitment to our community. And that's why we ultimately decided on the simple yet meaningful designation of Rivkin Courts, to truly capture the essence of his inherent humility. Our great mayor, Mayor Sam Joshi, his dedication to our community is evident in his proactive approach to addressing our needs and moving this town forward. In his true slogan, Sam got it done. Young and full of energy, a vibrant leader, you can tell from the moment that you speak with him how much he loves Edison and holds his position in the highest regards. It is a true honor to work with him and to call him a friend. I would like to call on Mr. Sam Joshi, Mayor Sam Joshi, to say a few words.
Can we give a round of applause to Councilman Asaf Shmuel, my dear friend, for doing such an outstanding job. I served on the council for 4 years. I paid very close attention to council meetings and government politics in Edison, and I mean this so sincerely. He is one highly effective councilman. He doesn't say much on the council, but I will tell you from some of the things that I'm about to say right now in terms of what we've done, he is an extremely effective councilman, very humble man, and he's become a dear friend along with so many other individuals that are here today. And I'm going to point out Moshe Foyer because he's always in the back. He always stays humble, but he's also a very good friend. And we've learned so much about, they've taught me so much about this community, in particular this neighborhood, and that's why right now I have so many friends right here. I'm truly humbled and honored to be here because when you think about the embodiment of a true community man, or you think about what it means to have a legacy, what it means to give back to the community, Rabbi Dr. Israel Rivkin is all of that. I cannot think of a single individual in Edison Township that has had a more a greater profound impact within the community in terms of uniting a community, in terms of so selflessly bringing it to the forefront in so many regards, especially amongst elected officials, so that we can get more things done within the community. And I want to talk a little bit about his legacy, because he was the individual, Councilman Asaf Shmuel just did mention a lot of things that he did, but he didn't touch upon some of the things that are his legacy to this day. And it's not just the many roads that have been repaved in this neighborhood or the tennis courts that he's wanted to get done for a very long time, but he also had a vision for bringing Hatzolah from a lease over here that's down the street to the point where, for those of you that don't know, we now signed an agreement from the township to have a new Hatzolah facility being built as a land lease with Edison Township. So that is going to come very soon. We appointed Judge Malia Reichman, who is here with us today as well. Where's she? And I know he would be she's right there. He'd be very proud of someone from within this community becoming a judge in our municipal court system. The lighting that was done here, the burning of Hametz, police security that we continue to have here, as well as Ari. Where's Ari Laxspizer, who was our first, from this community, a public defender as well. All of these things that I just pointed out is the legacy of Rabbi Dr. Israel Rivkin. That is a true legacy to leave behind. When the councilman and I spoke to, I'll call him Rivkin, when we spoke to Izzy just days before he passed through WhatsApp on a video chat, I kid you not, the very first thing he said, "Hey, Mayor, Councilman Asaf, how's it going?" And he said, "How's my community doing?" He cared more about knowing what was happening here to each and every single one of you than anything else. And he interrupted him saying, "We got something big to tell you," because we were about to tell him that we were dedicating these courts and we're renaming a part after him. And even after we told him, he went back to, "How's my community doing?" It was so sincere, and it truly embodies who he was. So as we think about community and we think about legacy and how much of an impact we can have on each other, this right here is so well deserved. He deserves to know, as he looks on us today, that he has made such an impact on every single person's life here, as well as this greater community. And there are other communities throughout all of Edison Township that want to have the type of impact that he made. But for this small token that we can do today, let's just remember Rabbi Dr. Israel Rivkin and his legacy. Thank you all.
We'd like to call on the family to come forward, designated with the mayor, and unveil the sign, please. Great job to the DPW. It's a beautiful sign. Beautiful, beautiful sign. Wow. Senator Pat Deignan, influence in Trenton, has helped pass several bills that pertain directly to our community in large. He was instrumental recently in securing $250,000 in state funding for the expansion and the renovation of the Jewish Community Center of Middlesex County, which is located in Edison. Beyond all those great accolades, he has been and still is a dear friend to Rabbi Dr. Izzy Rivkin. If you could please share a few words with the Senator.
Everybody knows Rob. He's going to speak too. You know, I'm sitting here, and I presume this is the family, okay? I'm sitting here thinking to myself, what a wonderful life. And how many people, look at the turnout here today. A model, and I know everybody here is telling the same stories. He would call me all the time. Call me from Israel, asking how I'm doing, not how he's doing. I mean, just that, absolutely special. And I presume these are his grandchildren? Great-grandchildren. Well, how appropriate, great-grandchildren. You are blessed. You are blessed that this is your heritage, and this is the model, and this is what you can really basically base your life on. God bless him. Just a wonderful person, and this is the least we can do to keep his memory alive.
Hi, I'm State Assemblyman Rob Karabinchak, and I'm humbled and honored to be here. Izzy and myself have had an unbelievable relationship. I've known him for over 25 years. Before I was a councilman in Edison, while I was a councilman in Edison, and then in the State Assembly. Our talks, our teas that we used to have up in the Dunkin' Donuts where he liked to go. He was a mentor to me, and he was absolutely a dear friend of mine. He will always be in my heart. He is so proud of this community, and as everyone said, this is what he fought for, the betterment, the safety, the quality of life for everyone here and in the future. He loved this community. He loves this town. And what we see today is just a small piece that we can do for him, his legacy in this community. And as I said, I am so proud to be here today, and I'm looking forward to this, and he's looking down on us right now saying, we did it, we're going to continue to do it, let's keep going. Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen. Play a little bit out of order. I apologize. Rabbi Yaakov Luban. For over 4 decades, Rabbi Luban has been the rabbi of Congregation Or Torah. He partnered closely with Izzy in addressing the religious needs of our community. Their shared dedication fostered a bond that grew beyond the conventional relationship between a rabbi and a congregant, involving into a deep and lasting friendship. Rabbi Luban, could you please share some words with us?
All right. First, I have to apologize for wearing my hat. I would take it off, but my yarmulke will fly away, so that's why it's on. This is such a beautiful gathering to have the community together with our elected officials, and I want to express appreciation to the mayor, Mr. Sam Joshi, and our terrific mayor, and our very energetic councilman, Asaf Shmuel, and all the elected officials and public servants. The fact that you have a unity here of public officials together with members of the community, that's what Izzy Rivkin's life was all about. Bring people together to work together, and it's a lasting legacy. It was a very, and I have to acknowledge, of course, the presence of Rebecca Rivkin and her family. I didn't realize that everybody was going to be here, but it's so super special to see all the children and their spouses and grandchildren and great-grandchildren. And it is the Rivkin family is just unbelievable. You could tell that Izzy Rivkin's not here, because if he was here, we would have had warmer weather. He would have arranged it. But, But I think that it was a brilliant idea to dedicate the tennis court in honor of Rabbi Dr. Izzy Rivkin. First, the tennis court. Tennis is a game of engagement, and that's what he did. He was constantly engaged, and he played tennis with everybody, with all the different officials, and it's a game that brings people together, and that was what he did all the time. He played tennis with everybody, and they were all his dear friends. But there's another reason why I think it was a brilliant idea. As everybody said, Izzy Rivkin, even when he moved to Israel, he was still tremendously engaged. When he was living in our community, he was the go-to man. Anything that needed to be done, you would go to Izzy Rivkin. I called upon him so many times, and we had almost daily conversations. He was more than my right-hand man. He was like my partner and a mentor in many different ways. But even when he moved to Israel, the amazing thing is, and that as was noted, is that he stayed engaged as much in Israel as when he was here. You couldn't even tell. If you didn't know that the phone number showed that the caller ID showed he was coming from Israel. But otherwise he would say he must be here because he's taking care of everything. He's involved in everything. So it seems to me that even though he has passed from this world, but he's still engaged, because from his exalted place in the heavens, in the Garden of Eden, I'm sure that he's still using his influence. He's still beseeching the God Almighty to take care of the city that he loved dearly and so much. And he's still actively involved. And there is a concept in Judaism that you could pray to God and say it should be in the merit of a holy person. Well, Izzy Rivkin was a super holy person. He would say super Jew, that he was a super holy Jew. And anybody that all of us that knew him, and especially you come to the tennis court, if you have a problem, I'm telling all the members of our elected officials, you have a problem, just come here and say a few words to Izzy Rivkin and ask him to intercede on your behalf. And you'll see it'll make a difference, because his influence was enormous. He was a legendary figure. It's a hackneyed phrase to say he was one of a kind. He was one of a kind. He was incomparable. There was nobody else like Izzy Rivkin. And that's why the turnout today is so phenomenal. He had so many dear friends. And he leaves a tremendous legacy on this community. And again, thank you very much to the administration for dedicating a tennis court in his honor and showing the tremendous respect that you have for a person who is one of the great people of our community.
Thank you, Rabbi. I'd like to call on Izzy's oldest daughter, Tova Kestenbaum.
Good morning. It is truly an honor to be here today, together with my dear mother, Rebecca Rivkin, may she live and be well, and my siblings, Rena and Mark Questel, Rabbi Zev and Mindy Rivkin, and Dr. Shira Markowitz. Oh, okay. And to be in the presence of Mayor Sam Joshi, Councilman Asaf Shmuel, and so many wonderful elected officials who my father talked about constantly and held very dear to his heart. This is a very special occasion, the dedication of these beautifully refurbished tennis courts. While the circumstances are bittersweet, I am full of pride and gratitude to God and to this community to remember my father, Rabbi Dr. Israel Rivkin, of blessed memory. And I apologize, I'm not a great public speaker, and I forgot to mention esteemed rabbis, Rabbi Luban and Rabbi Jaffe. In this week's Parsha, Shmini, that we just read, we read of another dedication, Lahavdil, the dedication of the tabernacle as the Jews traveled in the desert after leaving Egypt on their journey to the Promised Land. It was on the 8th day, Shmini, that Aaron and the elders of Israel were commanded to bring sacrifices in honor of the dedication of God's temple. While the people of Israel immediately followed the commandment and brought their designated sacrifice, Aaron, the high priest, seemed hesitant and needed to be encouraged by his brother Moshe to proceed and fulfill his commandment. Rashi quotes the Midrash that recounts the apparent dialogue as follows. Aaron was embarrassed and afraid to step forward, whereupon Moshe told him, "Why are you embarrassed? This is what you have been chosen for." The classic interpretation of Rashi's words is that Moshe was telling his brother that he shouldn't be embarrassed as God had chosen him to fulfill his role as high priest. Indeed, this is his destiny. However, the Hari and Baal Shem Tov, leaders of the Hasidic movement, offer a slightly different explanation. They explain that it is not that Aaron shouldn't have been humbled by the task, but rather it is exactly because of his humility that he was chosen for this task. Because only a man as humble as he could be trusted to work only in the service of God and not for any personal gain or ulterior motive. I think both of these explanations could characterize my father and his work for the Edison community. He both viewed it as his calling, his destiny to serve Hashem and the people of Edison, and because of his great integrity and humble manner, he was able to accomplish so much. For those of you who knew my father, you know that Edison was more than just a place he lived. It was a community he embraced and served with quiet dedication for so many years. Growing up here, I had the privilege of experiencing firsthand the warmth and close-knit feel of this town. Unlike some of my friends who hailed from bustling cities, my siblings and I enjoyed a childhood where neighbors looked out for each other, where we knew the names of the people who kept our streets safe and clean, and where the simple joys of biking to a friend's house were a given. To this day, some of our dearest friends are those that we grew up with here right in Edison. While I don't recall my father ever wielding a tennis racket on these very courts, my siblings and I certainly did. We spent countless hours playing tennis with each other and our friends, riding our bikes and playing baseball in this cul-de-sac, forging great childhood memories, never imagining that one day these courts would be dedicated in my father's name. That, in essence, is what Edison represents to me, a wonderful place to raise a family, a city that prioritizes the well-being of its residents, and a community that fosters growth and opportunity. My father, in his own unassuming way, was deeply committed to making Edison the best it could be for everyone. He worked tirelessly, often behind the scenes, to ensure the needs of all citizens were met. Many of you here today know of his efforts in securing permits for synagogues and schools, the Erev, the Shabbos Park for young families, arranging for proper disposal of chametz before Passover, ensuring garbage pickup before and after holidays, and so much more, and so many things that I just learned about even today. These were not grand gestures, but rather quiet acts of service, driven by his deep care for his community. He cherished the friendships he forged here with neighbors, community leaders, and the political figures who are with us today. The outpouring of love and cherished memories our family received during and after the Shiva brought us immense comfort and underscored the profound impact he had on so many lives. This dedication was initially intended to honor my father while he was still alive, a testament to the high regard in which he was held. He was so touched and humbled when Mayor Joshi and Councilman Shmuel called him with the news. He would have been overjoyed to be here today, to see all of you, his friends and colleagues, and to catch up on your lives since he moved to Israel 3 years ago. He also had the merit to watch his children and grandchildren enjoy the fruits of his labor in the children's park nearby. So we dedicate these refurbished tennis courts. As we dedicate these refurbished tennis courts, let us not only remember my father, Rabbi Dr. Israel Rivkin, but also celebrate the spirit of community service and dedication that he embodied. Thank you to the city of Edison, to Mayor Joshi, to Councilman Shmuel, and all the wonderful elected officials and Rabbanim who are attending today for this incredible honor in memory of my dear father. May these courts be a place of joy, activity, and connection for generations to come, reflecting the values he held so dear. Thank you so much. I can't express my appreciation enough to all of you. Thank you.
Do we have it?
I think it's over there. What do you need?
The proclamation. Thank you, Tova. Beautiful. Thank you. I'd like to call on Councilman Joe Coyle to read the proclamation that was presented to Izzy.
No, that's good. I like it.
You got it?
I'm fine, actually. Yeah, I can. I'm pretty strong. Good morning, everyone. I wore my sneakers today because I'm told that we're going to have a tennis champion match at 3 o'clock. Near's going to be out there with Lynn, and I'm up for it. And I think I'm ready. Our proclamation on behalf of the mayor's office. Whereas Rabbi Israel Rivkin, along with his wife Rebecca, settled in the area in 1968 and raised 4 children in what has become a thriving Orthodox community in Edison. And whereas while there has been a Jewish presence in Edison for more than 100 years, Rabbi Rivkin has had the foresight to see that the community needed an eruv in order for it to grow. And whereas at the time when eruvin were uncommon, Rabbi Rivkin met with elected officials and the railroad management in dealing with the red tape to expand the eruv that led the way to today's thriving community with the Orthodox community, synagogues, kosher restaurants, and so much more. Whereas working to increase the number of parks in walking distance for the neighborhood for Jewish children at Shabbat and holidays afternoons led the establishment of Shabbos Park on North 8th Avenue. Whereas in addition to the eruv and the parks, he was also responsible for the pre-peshat of garbage pickup and Shemat's removal, and became a liaison between elected officials and the community on Jewish matters, and always available to help the community members who were in need of assistance. Whereas he galvanized the community and encouraged them to exercise their right to vote in every election, and inspired the community members to run for elected positions. And whereas Rabbi Rivkin founded and chaired Kehillah of Roughton Valley, a political advocacy organization to increase the voices of the community, and much more. And whereas it is fitting to honor Dr. Rabbi Rivkin for his many contributions to the community, now therefore let it be said that Mayor Sam Joshi honor Rabbi Israel Rivkin. Thank you all.
Thank you, Joe. Right here. Thank you, everybody, for coming. Rivkin Courts are officially open.